It's easy to lose your temper. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to react. It's easy to lash out. It takes no self-discipline, no self-understanding, no self-control. Anger is often the first emotion reached for. It is the emotion that covers up other emotions. It is an emotion, especially lashing out in anger to minor things, to feel disrespected. It's not a sign of power, it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a fragile ego, of a domineering ego that is dictating your choices and your actions in this world. When you feel you have to prove yourself, when the judgments or frustrations of this life or of others toward you get under your skin enough for you to express anger, it means you need to firm up your resources, establish confidence in your own capacities, your own skills and abilities. It is easier, though you may have to learn some physical skills and techniques, build muscle and physical strength, to work on the exterior than it is to work on the interior, to become physically strong than mentally and emotionally, spiritually, internally strong. It's an easy outlet for self-improvement because it's easier to grasp and get a hold of, clearer a path than to do the inward work, is to work on our physical athleticism and our physical fitness and our physical prowess. Not to say that those aren't excellent things to strive for, but again, if you use them as a cover, as a way to fill the hole in your soul, as a way to fill the hole in your ego, as a sense of empowerment, power above others, influence above others, intimidation of others, through physical prowess, and ignoring the internal work, discipline and consistency of deeper internal growth. It's a flawed way of thinking, and it's not as strong. Though you may be physically mighty, you are not inherently mighty. You might be the biggest, strongest badass on the block, and fragile, insecure, unstable, and unhappy. You might make a lot of enemies in this life, trying to protect your own self-esteem and your own ego with the guard of being tough and strong. If you can rule your own spirit, master yourself first. Be more like a monk than a monster. More like a monk than a bodybuilder. More like a monk than a wrestler. Wrestler in particular, that's all for show. Again, not to say you shouldn't use exercise and movement and physical care and physical strength as a means of motivating the platform of growth. It's excellent for you, but it is just one aspect of you, and you shouldn't hang your hat on it for your identity, for your self-esteem, for your validation, and for especially a sense of power and superiority over others. because he that ruleth his spirit is more mighty than he that taketh the city. He that is slow to anger is better than he that is mighty. And he that ruleth his spirit better than he that taketh the city. Power grabs, throwing your wills and desires and physicality, your intellect, your skill sets, throwing your weight around, throwing your anger around, feeling disrespected and reacting to frustrations, to others, to situations with brute force. You may be the strongest. You may have the caliber of strength physically, in your attitude, in your courage to take the city and run it, to run people, to force respect. And yet you may be empty and unhappy and insecure because you forgot to do the inner work, to disavow and disabandon the ego, to try to become centered and compassionate and understanding. It's not weakness, it is strength. Because if you can maintain a clear head, if you cannot allow the opinions of others to get under your skin, to not feel disrespected, that means you're solid in yourself and your self-esteem. You can be clearer and more effective in your decision-making if you are slow to anger. You make clear and conscientious decisions, better choices to handling yourself, handling life, and handling others. Ultimate power corrupts ultimately. It's easier to lead by fist and force than peace and character. But it is wiser, more effective, more fulfilling